Hi, and welcome to another episode of A Walk to Remember. My name's Dwayne Baker-Henderson, and as always, I'll be your host as we explore some of the truths and the myths surrounding postpartum depression. And hopefully along the way, we'll give you some tips that can make your journey or someone else's journey that you're supporting a little bit easier as they go through postpartum depression. Now, last week I talked about seeing the beauty that's in your world. It's something that we tend not to do when we are under stress and challenge, but it's really important to do that. So I'll encourage you to go back and look at that video as well. But in this video, I want to talk about stigmas and how they pertain to mood disorders and mental illnesses like postpartum depression. Now, for those of you who don't know, a stigma is a set of unfair and usually negative beliefs about something specific, in this case, mental illness, which is held by a group or society. And unfortunately, these are perpetuated by media and movies and television and the news and all kinds of stuff regarding things like postpartum depression. It's really not fair because stigmas are based on fear, and they usually stem from not knowing. So we don't know a lot about the human mind, how it works. Psychology and psychiatry are very new sciences. And so the brain is very mysterious. And so when something isn't functioning the way that we believe it's supposed to, we kind of fear that. And we lump people who are going through that into groups of things that need to be feared or looked down on or just categorized as something that they may or may not be. And that's what the stigma associated with mental illness is. It's our public perception based on things that we don't understand. And really when it comes down to it, they're very destructive. They can cause fear, like I said. They can lead to prejudice. They can make people feel alienated and cause blame, finger pointing, self-doubt. All kinds of negative consequences come from these stigmas. And so I want to give you a couple of ways to stop stigmas and to not have to experience them yourself. Unfortunately, stigmas do come with us when we go into something like postpartum depression. I know that when my family started its journey through it, I had preconceived notions to what postpartum depression was. And I talked about this in my very first episode of A Walk to Remember. It wasn't a really positive look at what postpartum depression was, because all I had really seen in the media was stories about suicides and mothers harming their children and celebrities fighting about whether to use the medications or not. And so that's all I knew about postpartum depression. And it came with some fear with me. And so when my family found its way into postpartum depression, there was definitely a stigma involved for me. And I think that's why so many cases of postpartum depression go undiagnosed and why those poor people don't end up having help. It's because they're afraid of the stigma that maybe people will think they're crazy. Maybe people will think that they're to be feared, or they might harm themselves or something like that. And so they don't go and ask for help. And it's really important to get past that, because getting the help is more important than what other people might think. But anyway, I want to give you a list of 7 things that we can do to reduce stigma or eliminate it. And these come from a website called mendthemind.com, or sorry, mendthemind.ca. It's a really good list, and I will put a link to it in the description below. And these are just 7 ways we can reduce stigma and the discrimination that comes from it. First is to know the facts. And this is really, really important. Like I said, I didn't know anything about postpartum depression when we started going through it. And so one of the very first things I did is I started doing research just to find out what it was and what I could come to expect and what to watch out for. So that's really, really important to get to know what the condition is. And that will help to reduce the stigma in your own mind anyway. The second is to be aware of your attitudes and behaviors. And this was a big one for me. One of the things that I needed to do was stop putting so much time into things that weren't as important to our family, and start putting more time into supporting my wife and my family through this process. I had to really adjust my attitudes of what those important things were. And at the time, work was really important for me. And I had to pull back from that and readjust and reevaluate what was important. The third is to choose your words carefully. And this was another really big one for me. Up until that point, the word crazy had been in my vocabulary. I used it quite a bit. And I noticed at one point that when I said that word, Corey would withdraw. She would become more distant. And I talked to her about it at one point, and she didn't want people to think she was crazy. And just hearing the word kind of sparked that fear in her. And so I started to cut it out of my vocabulary, and I haven't used it really at all since that time. I think this video, I've said it more than I have since that time, which was 6 or 7 years ago. So you really need to choose your words carefully. Watch what you say, and be respectful in your words. The fourth is to educate others. And that's part of what I'm doing this for. I really want people to know that postpartum depression is a really common thing. It's not something where it happens 1 out of 1 million births. The numbers that I've seen are as many as 1 in 6. So you're not alone in this experience. And the more that we can tell people that and educate them about what postpartum depression is, what we understand about it, where it comes from, the better off we'll all be. And as you educate other people, you get to know a lot more yourself. The fifth is to focus on the positive. And just like I said in my video last week, finding those positive things can really pull you through a negative experience, or turn a negative experience into something with some value. It's not something that's all in vain. You're actually going through this to learn something and to get something out of it. So if you're looking for positives, you'll start to see those patterns and those trends. And it really does make it more simple and a little bit easier. Number 6 is to support people. And that was the role that I found myself in. I did have this stigma coming into what postpartum depression was. And through learning more about it, I learned how to support Corey. I learned what I could do to help her get through her days easier and to feel more worthy of good things happening to her, and to give her a break and help around more with my family and our home life. And supporting people when you're going through something stressful like postpartum depression or any other challenge really does help everybody involved. It helped me connect more with my kids. It helped Corey to be able to put her energies into becoming well. And it really did help the people around us get to know more about the condition. So support the people who are going through it, and support other people. If you're going through it and you know other people who are going through it, support each other. You'll notice that knowing other people who are going through the same thing can be really empowering and just make you feel part of something greater than just one little struggle. Number 7 is to include everyone. And this one I will put a caveat on. There are some people that we didn't include in our experience, and we did that for reasons of not having negative energy come back at us, not having negative comments, basically pertaining to points 2 and 3 with checking your attitudes and behaviors in your words. Part of that was we needed to filter. But the more people we involved, the better it was for us, the better it was for those people. They got to know more, like I said. And it just gave us a bigger support network that we could lean on. So that's the list of 7 things that we can do to reduce stigma. There's a lot more information here in it, so I'll put a link below so you can go take a look at this list and everything that it pertains to. But if you're going through something like postpartum depression, don't listen to the stigmas. Get the help you need in whatever form that is, whether it's going through through the medical route or going another route. Get the help that you need. Get support. Get the people around you who love you to come around you and give you what you need and help you out so that you can become well and get through this faster and smoother and easier. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Let those stigmas just slide off your back. They're unfair, they're unfounded, and it's just that the people who are holding on to those stigmas need to judge people to make themselves feel better. So just let those go. They don't mean anything to do with you. It's all false stuff. If you did like this video, give it a like. Share it with the people who might find value in it, and throw your comments in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about stigmas and your experiences with them. Anyway, thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video. Next one's on Friday. That's my personal vlog where I just talk about what's going on in my mind at the time. And Tuesdays is always a walk to remember, like this one, where I talk about my family's journey through postpartum depression. Have a great day, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.